Hikaru, welcome in Norway.
It's good to be here.
You have reinvented yourself as a streamer, as a professional chess player several times throughout your chess career. How do you decide that this is a time for shift the gears?
To my own situation after 2016, I was kind of in the midst of just going through the motions. And then in 2018 and 2019, I didn't have great results, so I thought it was time to try something new. Of course, like many things in life, timing is very important, and I happened to be in the right place at the right time. I took a chance. I changed things up. It ended up working out. I think after that, for quite a few years, I was primarily streaming the period of 2020 through 2022. Very specifically, it was mostly about online content. That being said, on the back, or I guess it's a tailwind from the whole boom that happened online, there was more sponsor interest, more events happening. And so I kind of found my way back. I think a lot of people are obviously aware that I don't always see eye to eye with FIDE specifically. But I think getting the wild card to play in the FIDE Grand Prix in Germany, I think that was early 2022, if I remember correctly, maybe it was 2023, was very important when I got this wild card invite from the FIDE president. So that kind of brought me back, and rather surprisingly, I've had good results since then. I would say as far as the last year and a half, things are changing back towards professional chess more, not only just because I'm near the end of my career, but also because there are a lot of exciting things happening. There's this esports World Cup going on. So they're kind of shifts back and forth, but I'm kind of going with the wind, at least in the last year or so.
Mm-hmm. We have seen you go into the confession booth last year. Should we expect that too? And is that fun for you to do that during the game?
You know, it comes down to say, what is the purpose? And I think that in terms of me doing it last year specifically, you know, like many things I've done, the hope is that chess can become bigger. It's one of the ways to provide more access. But I would also say that, you know, when you do it all the time, and most of the players don't follow that lead and try to do it, I think that the upside is potentially very limited. So I'll do it here or there, but probably not in the volume the way that I did before.
Where does your competitive edge really come from?
The big edge I have is mostly that the approach that I take is not the standard approach. I don't really look at the risk management the way that a lot of players do. I think you know, there are a couple examples of it, but just if I look at Isle of Man at the end of, I think, 2023, there was this last round game I played against Arjun, and it was very clear that whether it was Arjun or some of the other players I had black against towards the end of the tournament, they simply expected me to go by the book and be very solid towards the end and not play the Sicilian, which I played, I think, against Vidit, Esipenko, and Arjun towards the end. It was clear none of them expected that because, you know, there's a right way and a wrong way of doing things. So I think that the approach that I don't do what you're supposed to do has played a big role. I think the game against Fabiano in Norway Chess in 2023 was another example where I was supposed to play something much more aggressive, and then I played something where Fabiano didn't remember the correct line. So I think the big edge I have is that I don't really think about chess the way that most of the other top players do.
Mm-hmm. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind you in the history of chess?
You know, I think as far as legacy goes, probably when I look at what has happened online, that is far more important than anything else. Obviously, I'm a great chess player. I've had great results, but I think that for me, the fact that there are so many people out there making content, and that was born really out of the chess boom and everything that I was a part of in 2020, will always be most important. Whether that survives as in the long term as a thing is a little bit unclear right now, but I would hope that's what people will remember. The games are great, but I think the impact where people can make a living that goes beyond just the elite players is much more important than any tournament or game that I've won.
Yeah. With Norway Chess Armageddon twist, how do you balance the entertainment and the competitive thoughts that you have, especially you know that there are so many of your fans following you online?
Well, I mean, I think for me, my biggest edge is in classical chess. I think it's where I play my best, which is kind of ironic considering my career. So I think for me, I just look at focusing on the classical games. There's no real thought of, say, making a draw and trying to win the Armageddon game. That's just not in my mind at all. as I've learned also from playing this event a few times, you never really know what's going to happen in Armageddon. You can do very well in some of the games, you can do very badly. There's no real guarantees. So I just focus on the classical game. And if it gets to Armageddon, I don't particularly care either way.
And the final question, how can someone become a chess player starting from zero?
Well, I mean, of course you can't be a chess player from zero, but you know, I think the thing is that with technology, it's very easy for kids to get into the game at a much younger age than it was before. I would say that probably by 3 or 4, kids can take up the game. Just, you know, using a phone or using an iPad, it's just very easy. So I think the thing is just basic puzzles on any number of apps is a simple way to do it. And I think there are plenty of resources. So it's actually much easier now than it would have been when I was growing up. And I think just make sure that if a kid gets into it, they enjoy it.
Right. Thank you so much.